everything's clean, and this after Emu Eye's conversation from the day before, seeing his healing techniques, I was just abhorred by what was going on. So I wrote him down some notes, and I want to find him and have a conversation with him.
Sure.
A friendly, supportive, throw an arm around the kind of guy conversation. Yeah.
I got to hear this. Yeah, you definitely find him. He's right outside of the wagon.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, I've got a couple of rats on a stick that are moderately cooked, not maybe as thoroughly as they probably should have. And I'm kind of nibbling on them and then poking them in the ground, and I'm kind of like picking some gunk out from underneath the toenail and then rubbing that on my little rat stick, and then
So yeah, not to get too deep into it, but I just go over and like Emu. I understand that where you come from and your people are have some sort of resistance to filth.
Yeah, it's a pretty good it's a pretty good ability. Yeah, it helps us spread.
It is impressive. I have to say that. I have no doubt about it. But you have to understand that in the rest of the world, most people cannot tolerate, like packing poop into open wounds and stuff like that.
Well, how do you get the wound to close up? Because the poop has got a natural stickiness effect, and it just smooshes them together, and it really is, it keeps it from just gushing everywhere.
And
but goblin poop is really thicker than everybody else's, so I don't know if you've considered that.
No, it makes perfect sense when you stop and think about it in some
But you got to grind it into a paste, because if you don't smoosh it well enough, then it's just like a clump will just fall off. So you got to really just get in there with your heel of the bottom part of your hand and just squish it in.
So I wrote down some things here for you, man. Maybe you could do everybody, society a favor and maybe, just look at that a little bit and see try and work with me, bro. Please. That's all I'm asking, man.
Oh, okay. Use the palm of your hand. You have to really grind it in there.
This is pretty cool. So this is like if I want to heal up a human?
Yes. Anybody else besides a goblin. We don't have the kind of antibodies, I guess, or resilience that you have. But yeah, other people are really, really allergic to poop, especially.
Well, hey, good luck. Hey, Splug. Good news. I can keep using the poop method with you, but like for Omi and Kang, they said no poop.
He's speechless, literally.
I'm working on something that'll give him his voice back. I think it'll be pretty impressive if I can figure out the right concoction.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Have a high squeaky voice or something like that? Oh my goodness.
So Kang feels better about himself. He did his due diligence. He at least attempted to.
Emu does seem to actually spend some time reading through it. And he does a lot of this number. He's scratching his head and he kind of looks confused and he's like, "Wow, why wouldn't that?" And he's talking to himself. Why wouldn't that work if you just well, especially if you ate corn the night before. I mean, that's almost golden.
I'm going to give you, Kang, I'm also going to give you a hero point for that, because that's just priceless, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I extend to Emu. I'm like, anytime you have any questions, if you have a problem with the handwriting or the language, just come talk to me, man. We'll figure this out, bro.
Yeah, we will. Thank you. I mean, you use some words. Is this supposed to be one whole word? It looks like a whole sentence to a goblin, but I think it's just a single word because there's not a space in the middle.
I'm going to get you a book that we can start out with you working on, getting your reading up to, our, society's expectations.
This is too good. Oh my God.
You're pretty good for a human. I think you're pretty good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
The feeling's mutual, man.
So as you guys are all kind of winding up this talk, and the professor summons you, Omi, and then he knows that everybody else is over by Bramblecloak's wagon. So the professor, gets you, Omi, goes over to the others. and there's a gentleman with the professor. And this gentleman, here is an image of this gentleman. Probably looks to be, he's very bland looking, looks to be in his 50s. He's got thinning brown hair, a short beard, and he is introduced to you as the mayor of Aberton, and that is how the professor introduces you. And like I said, he takes his hat off. He, like in the image, holds it against his chest, and he goes, "Hello, my friends. I am the mayor of Aberton, J. Aber." And he says that he's been mayor of Aberton for the last 20 years. When his mother passed it on to him, and she was mayor for 20 years, and it's been, they have been in charge of Aberton for generations. So, he says, "Thank you so much for seeing me." And he says, I saw your show last night, and it was spectacular. Then he says, "But then this morning, I learned that you and your people were attacked by someone from Aberton, or perhaps from the Hermitage of Blessed Lightning. Our little town, it's been terrorized for weeks, long since before you and the circus has shown up, and I am so sorry, and I apologize to you that you have been caught up in all of this mess." And then he goes on, and he says that, "I don't understand, and I can't see how anyone from our beautiful village would be involved in such villainy, but I can't believe anyone at the Hermitage would do so either." He says, "The hermits are kind, humble, and pious folk, and they are devoted to Gazra, the deity Gazra. Their master is a man named Harlock Hamdeal. He's a fine person. He loves animals and nature and such, and all that good hippie tree hugging stuff. But he says it's impossible to imagine him doing anything like what happened last night, sending this Bramblecloak character to Aberton." He says, "I just don't understand it." He says, "But that doesn't mean, we, the town of Aberton, and the hermits there at the Hermitage, we don't always agree on everything. We've had some challenges of late, as I mentioned already. There's been little rain. The fields are dry. The heat has withered a lot of our crops and plants. And then, out of nowhere, we got a cold snap that froze what survived." He says, "It's just been rough. And then to top it all off, the wind has been dangerous lately. We've had high winds, and it's basically pulled what's left of the fertile topsoil off and swept it away." He says, "Our wells have dried up. The streams, I've never seen them so low in all the years I've lived here. I've lived here my entire life." And he says some of the streams have vanished and disappeared completely. He says, "I know that nature, it comes and goes in cycles. I think that we need to be patient. Many of us think we need to be patient. We hope the rains will come back. But some of the hermits, they have been blaming us. For what? I don't know. And it sounds like this Nemia Bramblecloak is one that has put the blame solely on Aberton. It's like they think that we've done something wrong, but all we are is just simple farmers. Aberton is just a place that grows and sells and survives. So, but over the last month, things have really gotten bad. We've had Hemina. She was attacked by a wild boar in the streets. Aberton's miller, Sierra Houghton, and her family have gone missing. No one would blame them if they left town. We don't know if they left, but maybe they were driven off by something. Normally, I would go to the sheriff with this. She's always kept us safe, but no one's even seen her either. And, the professor, he even comments, yes, we weren't able to find her last night because we were going to turn Nemia Bramblecloak over to the sheriff, but we weren't able to find her. So, and then he says, I heard how all of you protected the innocent people here at your circus last night, and I thought maybe, just maybe, that you could do for us what you did for the people of your circus. If you could, I would gladly speak to Harlock about the woman who attacked you last night. And remember, Harlock is the leader of the Hermitage of Blessed Lightning. He says, I would be happy to speak to him on your behalf and perhaps even get you admission to the Hermitage so you could talk to him and see for yourself that they're harmless, because we don't think that just one bad apple spoils the whole bunch, meaning Nemia Bramblecloak.
Well, I think we're going to be around for a while, so what do you guys think? Should we go check this out? I mean, if we don't do it, we could end up getting attacked again.
Yeah, I mean, assuming you fill in Emu, he's always happy to go with, wherever.
Yeah, King agrees.
Oh, you can see a like a relief kind of wash over him, because he was, very pale, and he was actually very humble and almost embarrassed to ask for help. And he says, "Oh, I thank you so much for this." And he says, "I'll try to do what I can for a reward for all of you as well. We haven't, had much luck lately. We don't have caravans visiting us here on the island. We haven't been able to export anything off, so it's really bad around here. But I'll see what I can find to compensate all of you for your time." And the mayor, he says that he must dismiss himself. He needs to make haste and travel to the Hermitage to see if he can get an audience for you with the hermit that they call Harlock Hamdell. And he excuses himself, and he kind of muddles off with a couple of the other guards that were escorting him. Sort of like security, I guess you could say.
So if this parlay goes down, should we bring Nemia with us? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, why not? She's not doing much here.
I mean, she's part of the Hermitage, as the mayor said. I mean, it could be good to take her and confront our leader. You know what I mean? I mean, but then again, was the leader involved? You guys just have no clue. I mean, this is all so new.
Yeah, good point. We weren't going to bring him an ally back if he's actually a part of this. So.
Yeah. So the professor, the four individuals of the sideshow, as the mayor kind of dismisses himself with his small security detail. The professor's still there, and the four individuals come up and says they have some reports for you, because they spent overnight talking with the citizens of Aberton, doing some investigating of their own, and Hesper and Midas, which are the unjoined twins, they can actually confirm the unjoined twins. That's so good. They can confirm that Hemina, which was, remember, was mentioned by the mayor. They found out that she is a polite grandmother who recently sold her farm and moved into the town, and she was the one that was attacked by a wild boar in the street. And the twins, they kind of give their report in a kind of like altering sentences back and forth. So I'll try to do this as best as I can. So Hesper says, "She ran, of course. Who wouldn't?" Midas says, "And she's unhurt, thank goodness. As for the boar, it's been spotted in an orchard on the east side of town, and it's not alone. Apparently, there's a whole brood of smaller boars that are just as nasty and ill-tempered as their mother." So it looks like there's a boar, actually, I guess a gaggle of boars at Olden's orchard on the outskirts of town. Then there was Tala. She was the tattooed woman, and she investigated the Houghton Mill over the night and talked to some other people. And she found that the mill was infested with wasp. And she's also noted that the wasp behavior seemed unusual, and she suspects foul play with maybe some type of outside influence on, because usually wasps don't mess with anyone unless, you destroy their hive or something. But these are pretty aggressive. She thinks that there may be some type of outside influence involved. There was no evidence of the miller of the mill or her family, although everything about the mill seemed to be in working order from a distance. She couldn't get too close to it because of all of the wasps, but everything was dark. There was no lights, nothing. She finds it very unlikely the owner just simply abandoned the mill, because there's, it seems like nothing has been touched. She checked out the shed. There's still all kinds of wagons and tools and, personal belongings. There's, chairs on the porch. So she thinks something's definitely happened, and they didn't abandon the mill. So there's the Mad Mug, and Gadarin, the bearded man, he did some investigating at the Mad Mug and asked some questions and stuff. So to find out, there is a small crime gang in Aberton, and they call themselves the Muggers. And they don't publicly call themselves that, which is what Gitterin found out. But that's what they definitely call themselves internally. They call themselves the Muggers. And they hang out at a roadhouse outside of town called the Mad Mug. And he also heard some rumors from several of the folks that live in the town of Aberton, that the Muggers, they drink all day, they're party animals, and they cause a lot of trouble at night. So the sheriff was really trying to, tighten up and really start to put a stranglehold on this gang, on this crime gang. And then, this went on for a while, and then all of a sudden, the sheriff just disappeared. And the rumors are the Muggers may have something to do with the disappearance of the sheriff of Aberton. But they hang out at a roadside tavern called the Mad Mug. And then lastly, Abadar is basically the most worshipped deity in Aberton. And it's called the House of Gold and Laws. And there is one, and they're not only the head denomination for a deity inside of Aberton, but it's the only bank in town too. So not only it's the church and the temple, but it's also the bank. So there's a guy. Rumor is there's someone named Nellandrend that operates the building, and also tries to maintain the church and the cemetery. But rumor is is there's a like a foul stench of death that is coming from the cemetery, and a lot of the folks of Aberton are intimidated by this and actually scared of going to the actual temple to do any kind of worshiping and stuff because of the smell of death.
Yeah, you got to embalm the body, I think, is pretty much what you got to do. I mean, you can't just bury them like us goblins, because, you know, humans don't like that sort of stink. See, I've been paying attention, Kang.
And, you know, and remember, Cubby the dog-faced dog. Cubby is the one that gave you the information about the Golden Laws Church. Cubby the dog-faced dog.
Well, so what do you guys think? I mean, we
are lovely, ain't they?
We can check out all of these, of course, but what do we want to check out first? The orchard, the mill, the mad mug, or the temple?
Well, I normally like boar. It's pretty tasty, but I got a lot of rats, so I'm kind of like, we could do the boars later when my rat supply runs low, maybe.
You got hundreds of. Well, I don't know if you'd have. Yeah, you probably have about 100 rats. A lot of them were blown into bits and smithereens.
It depends on how much Splug eats, because he can eat like a horse. A horse that eats rats.
Shaking his head no.
The muggers. I mean, I might be interested in talking with those muggers.
Well, to me, getting the sheriff back in action might be, you know, our greatest benefit, I would think. But my profession says that we should root out any kind of unnatural death that is going on in cemeteries or temples or anything like that. But you know, like you said, should check them all
out. We could go to the temple first, and then maybe by then Emma will help me start running low on rats, and we can go after some boar.
Get low on rats.
That works for Emu.
Oh my goodness.
Sure, either way, whatever's clever.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share you a map of Aberton, and I'm going to put a pointer up there. So, in fact, I don't think I have my pointer. I don't have my pointer. I never uploaded it. Did I? Did I upload it? I guess I probably didn't. So let's go ahead and let's find a. I'm going to find a.
You could paint on the map and draw a circle.
Yeah, I could do that. I'm going to go ahead and... Ooh, you know what? I got some... We have, we got Extinction Curse tokens, so I'm going to take one of these, I think. So they're right here. Let's, oh yeah. I'll go ahead and I'll use this token here. This is where the party's at, basically. And well, you guys are, you know, over by the circus, which is over here on the right-hand side. Now, the temple is right here. So this will be the temple, right? You can see that there's the graveyard and stuff like that. Now, you also mentioned that you were talking about the Mad Mug also, I believe. So the Mad Mug is on the outskirts of town to the southeast, and it is right here. All right. And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and you guys would have a map. The mayor would actually probably have given you a map of the town. So I'm going to go ahead and share this map with you. So this will have the locations throughout Aberton. So it's a pretty decent town, I guess you could say. But there's where there's where the Big Top is, and the Mad Mug, and Odlin's Orchard. There's the church. There's the mill, and then off to the northwest is the Hermitage of Blessed Lightning. So what do you guys think?
Well, the church is the closest, so let's just go there first. Then I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Up to you guys, wherever you guys want to go. There's no, you don't have to go anywhere first. So it is to the church. So we will. It is I would say it's probably mid-morning now. So
that's the best time to go look for dead things is in the morning, because I don't like. I got to be honest, guys. I'm a little bit scared of creatures if they're supposed to be dead, but they're not dead. It kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, it's a foul situation, but I'm trained and we'll get through it. I'll help you out, man.
You just don't want it to hit nightfall, do you?
Mm.
All right, so you guys work your way over to the Golden Laws Church, or the House of Golden Laws, and there is it looks. I will say this: the church itself, the cemetery grounds, everything is pretty much constructed from wooden planks, and they're all banded together with brass, brass bands, etc. The door's kind of propped open, so you can kind of see inside the church a little bit. There's a porch, and I will go ahead and open up. I will share a map with you guys, and I'm going to put all of you on the map. So there we go. All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't want to be out front. I'm gonna hide around here. There we go.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, and as you guys get on the church's property, there is a smell of rotting flesh and death. Definitely noticeable. That's for sure.